And it's take two. We go live officially. I've been speaking for the best part of a minute, thinking we're live. The chip has just landed in the building, and first thing he uttered out of his mouth, he said, "We're not live." So he came to tell us we're not live. Now we're live, and welcome to a midweek BNI. It's 3 out of 3, 11 out of 12. Liverpool, it was supposed to be a really hard transition, a really difficult start in terms of settling in for Slot and his troops. But Liverpool have made things really, really easy. But here we are. Welcome to another show in reaction to what's happened last night and preview, an early preview. And I'm probably be a plenty previews before we play the Gunners on Sunday. But welcome. Hit a like, smash like they say, hit a comment if you're watching live, and if you're watching later, let us know what you think about all of our opinions. And our partners, schnucklig.com, head over and check out all their great stuff regards to all things Liverpool's merchandise. But my comments are on. Adnan says, Salam boys, big up the panel, hit the like button and do all that good stuff. But Sarib, a bit under the weather, but Liverpool have been not under the weather, but really, really comfortable. But you're not comfortable today.
Yeah, man. It's been a nice couple of weeks of breaks after breaks for Liverpool and us. But it's nice to have some football back, and it's nice to see that Liverpool are winning games. Most importantly, it's nice that we have seemed to dust off that Nottingham Forest result, and it was, you can see now, it was a bit of an anomaly. I think even fans like me were always a bit skeptical about the team that we played, but ultimately you only can beat what's in front of you, and rightfully so. I think being skeptical about some of the teams we play, Wolves and Bournemouth and Brentford, are teams that we should be beating regardless of where we are in the league. So, but now obviously we're playing the likes of Chelsea and Leipzig. Things look much more convincing, and I can't really say much. Liverpool are getting better, and I'm getting worse. Not that I'm unhappy, but I feel like absolute right now. I don't know why, but it's the weather change, as they say.
The weather change. Jake, you're back home. Look who we've got in the building and joining us, watching the show. He's probably tucked up under his duvet. I don't know how he's got reception out there in Midfield, but maybe he's in a fancy hotel enjoying himself. You never know. But he says, "Yes, boys, 1 a.m. here." Who's the guy in the top right? Miss the basket. Is he missing the chip? We all miss the chip when he's not on the show. But Jake, welcome back. And Liverpool looked all right, didn't they, last night?
We got the result. I think we played well for the vast majority of the match, kind of like the manager himself said, but there were some moments during the game, which you expect when you're playing a good side like Leipzig, where we did struggle a bit. We'll probably talk about it as we continue on here. I was just most disappointed with how careless we were with the ball in possession at times. Which is a concern going forward. We have to get that cleaned up, especially for this big match we have this coming weekend. But 3 points is 3 points, and we move on. I mean, as you mentioned to open the show, 11 out of 12 is nothing short of incredible for this manager. So kudos to him and kudos to the squad.
The chip, what's happening, Avi? Welcome back. It's been a while. It feels like when you don't ring me every other day, it feels like it's not right. And those late night calls I've turned into like 12-minute and 6-minute audios on WhatsApp when I wake up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, welcome back, Avi. What do you make of Liverpool in the last week or two? Because I've not really talked to you about Liverpool for the last couple of weeks, it feels like.
We're talking more about the Pakistan cricket team more than we have.
We won the last test.
We won as well. So happy days. Liverpool are winning. Pakistan are winning. What more do we want? Look, we've got to be impressed with the work that Slot has done. We've got to be impressed with his team. Yes, we can, nitpick at performances. Of course, we're not the finished article. Far from it. That will happen over the course of the next 2-3 months. But you can see what he's trying to assemble here. And, reading your threads the other day, Asim, especially the one yesterday about the different shapes that we're using, different formations that we are.
Oh, you read them then?
Of course I read them. I give you a bit of shit, but of course I read them. Right now, things are looking good. Look, we could have asked for a better start, if we're being honest. Yes, we could have beaten Nottingham Forest, but, you always get those results every season, once or twice a season. And we've gone through one, and the way we bounced back from it has been incredible. Some good results. Yesterday was a tough game. Make no mistake about it. Leipzig, obviously, that Red Bull structure that they've got going on, and obviously Jurgen will have a bit of a say now in the way they operate. But it was a good result. Leipzig did trouble us, but all in all, it's been a fantastic start to the season. And are we title contenders? Yes. Are we, one of the favourites for the Champions League? Yes.
Jake, the chip has set us up for a double.
We said we're contenders. That doesn't mean we're gonna bag them, but it's hard to disagree with him at this moment. We're playing very well, as I mentioned to you the other night. The most impressive part of all of this to me is our defensive record, and we kept another clean sheet yesterday. I sent you a message after the game. It's some of these performances. It's kind of shocking that we're able to keep these clean sheets. It's a little bit of luck for sure, as you mentioned in the voice note that you sent back to me. But when you're an organized side and you defend well, a little bit of luck comes with that. And that's how we're performing right now. So it's not a coincidence that we're, as good defensively as we are. The manager's putting a very big emphasis on it. And that seems to be our calling card this season, which is a little bit surprising considering how poor we were defensively last season, but it's a testament again to the manager for the emphasis, the training, and the buy-in from the squad.
Asim, a credit, just before we go into, Jake mentioned the defensive work that's being done, and obviously so far, I think, was that a 9th clean sheet this season? Conceded 3 goals in the league, I believe 3 or 4. Kept a clean sheet yesterday. Credit must go to the ex-Everton player who's with us, Johnny Heitinga. A lot of credit must go to him, I'm presuming, because he must be doing some great work behind the scenes in terms of our structural shape, how we keep it very tight, and how Trent is not leaving that 3-man, and how Konate is not being that. He is that channel defender, but Trent's not roaming as we see him do in previous season. He's not losing his shape. We are keeping a solidified 4 at the back, and credit must go to Johnny Heitinga for that too.
Sarib, were you surprised Curtis Jones didn't get a start after his performance against Chelsea?
I think the obvious answer is yes, of course, because anyone would say that. Because on the back of that that Chelsea result, I would have personally started him, especially with a bit of doubt about Maka. Maka's still kind of recovering from whatever he had. I'm not too sure what it was, whether it was illness or injury, maybe accumulation of both. So yeah, I would have stuck Curtis Jones in, and I think most Liverpool fans would have probably said the same thing. I don't have an issue with the way Slot uses his squad, because the reality is he takes a player out, another player comes in, they do the job, he takes that player out, another player goes in, he does the job, and it's just a system that's working really, really well at this moment in time. And I like about Arne Slot, he's very to the point. I think he was asked, why did you start Maka over Jones? Because he said Maka was available. Yeah. Ultimately, he's basically saying Maka is better, so I'm going to start players that are better. But in hindsight, the players that he does bring in tend to deliver, whether it's Gakpo, whether it's Diaz rotating, whether it's Jota and Nunez rotating, whether it's McAllister and Gravenberch, McAllister and Jones rotating, whether it's Tsimikas and Robbo. Tsimikas I think was amazing. We'll get on Tsimikas a bit later. But yeah, of course I was surprised that Jones was starting, but I wasn't unhappy with him not, because I know the quality of the squad.
Asim, if Curtis Jones cracks the starting 11 moving forward, which is a big if, don't get me wrong, but if he's going to take somebody's position, whose position is he going to take as a mainstay in the starting 11?
There we go.
That is
we know
that is really, really difficult, and I don't want to sit on the fence, but since you asked the question, I don't want to so ask. Szoboszlai.
We got him eventually, boys. We got him eventually.
Why? Is even I don't like. Okay, my answer to that is because I think what McAllister gives us is a lot of control and progressive passing. Yesterday, he's receiving outside the block, although I think Curtis Jones is better than that. And McAllister, when he receives it near the touchline, there's two different things that he does to Curtis Jones, and they both work To be fair to them. Curtis Jones will put his studs on the ball and carry it from there in tight spaces because he's a lot used to playing on the touchline than McAllister. McAllister will use the inverted fullback and pop it off worst time because he's got such a lovely touch and weight of pass. The amount of times Robertson has come in from that position and invaded the space what McAllister has vacated. So it's two different styles. But I think McAllister gives us that control and progressive passing. He's such a, shows so much assurity on the ball, especially when we're struggling. He knows how to slow games down and go again. And he really complements in that double pivot in Gravenberch really well. In terms of Jones playing on the right-hand side, I think although he does have a lot of intensity, he counter presses really well, and he can get back as well. Not as probably good as Szoboszlai, but I think I don't like him. The balance that he gives us, the overlaps that Szoboszlai gives us, the hugs, the touchline on the right-hand side, the angle bias and all that sort of stuff. I think he can do a job, but over the course of the season, I don't like what he gives us. So just to answer your question is I don't see, I think he can do a job on the left-hand side and do it differently. But I think what McAllister gives us, nobody else gives us from Gravenberch, obviously the obvious one because that's where he plays number 6. But from them two, Szoboszlai and Jones, I think he can do a better job on the right-hand side in terms of the counter press and the dirty work. And not my words, Szoboszlai's words, than doing that job that McAllister does.
I thought Szoboszlai. Sorry to come in on this, Jake. I did think Szoboszlai had a good game yesterday. Second half, especially, I thought he had a good game. Obviously, knowing what Leipzig are about as well, having played there as well, I thought he was really good yesterday. And I can see him starting against Arsenal as well. I've seen people shout for McAllister to be that fourth forward as such, that sort of 10 role, but he hasn't got the intensity that Szoboszlai has. He hasn't got the intensity that Jones has either. Jones is quick off the ball. Like when he needs to press, he presses very, very well. I don't think McAllister is that, but we saw McAllister yesterday. He was float. Second half, he was unplayable.
Who would you choose, Jake? If you had to choose one.
The question gets complicated for me because there's two different aspects to this question. When you're talking about Jones coming in, you're obviously talking about somebody coming out. And somebody coming out is half of the story. And then the other half of the story is which position does Jones play better? I think it's harder to take McAllister out of the team than Sobo in general. But I'm not sure if Jones is better on the left or on the right. Is where I get a little bit confused.
Really? I think he's a lot better from the left.
That's what I'm saying. So because of that, it gets more complicated because if you take Mac off, for me, it's harder to take Mac off the pitch than Sobo. But if Jones fits better on the left, that doesn't really work because you're taking the wrong guy off the pitch. But with that said, the question I was going to ask you is kind of what Avi alluded to, and I agree with what he said. What about playing Jones on the left and Mac on the right?
Again, I don't like it.
On the ball, I think it works. Off the ball, I don't think it works.
Against certain opposition, lower team opposition, I think it can work. Against an Arsenal where you're going to concede a bit of the ball, you just have to accept that. I think you have to. I don't think you start with those three. You start with a Szoboszlai, Macker, and a Gravenberch.
I don't think it's off the ball is the issue, Jake. Because if we do, hypothetically speaking, play McAllister on the right and Jones on the left hand side, I think Jones can be the second striker from the left-hand side and play the Szoboszlai role on the right, and Nunez just shifts across or Jota shifts across. That's not the problem. The problem is the McAllister playing on the right-hand side to complement, and this is one of the reasons why I think Jurgen Klopp changed his mind, is when he came and he said McAllister is for the right, Szoboszlai is for the left, because he wanted him to turn in and, have that shot threat from the inside left position, just like, Cody Gakpo in a similar fashion has when he plays from wider positions. But I think McAllister hasn't got the legs to play that role that we need when Salah comes inside, someone to overlap, when Trent comes inside into the half space, someone to hug the touchline. I don't think he can play a facilitating role. He is the orchestrator. The orchestrator doesn't, at times when you have to, but that role, it doesn't suit McAllister.
But is that where he can operate on the left then, Asim? And I'll tell you why he could operate better on the left is because Diaz is going to run his lungs till the 95th, 96th minute, right? So he will hold that width. You got Robbo as well, who will go on the overlap. So McAllister can tuck in and play that sort of close-knit midfield role alongside of Gravenberch. Whereas Jones, we saw him yesterday when he had that 25-minute cameo yesterday, he was going on the right. Him or Szoboszlai were switching sides and going on the right when Salah came off. So I see Jones as being a better player for the moment on that right. But last season we saw when Jones was fit on the clock, those late darting runs were obviously coming in from the left.
Yeah, and plus, you know, Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones are two different players. One guy is a lot more vertical, although he's tried to, you know, rotate and circulate the ball a lot more. But Curtis Jones is that circulator, isn't he? So he'll come out, recycle play, start again. Where the natural traits of Szoboszlai, especially when he initially came in, is to come and get the ball and turn. But he's obviously having learned this new system now, where he's a lot more box to box in a Jurgen Klopp side. But now here, especially recently, when we've started going from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, where he's held a lot higher positions. So when you hold in higher positions, you're receiving the ball back to goal and stuff like that. So in a more possession-based team, but obviously he's still got the dirty work. He had the dirty work against Jurgen Klopp. You had the dirty work in a Arne Slot team. When you play in between Trent and Salah, who are massive creative aspects of a Liverpool side, someone has to play the balancing act, and at the moment it's him. So, but I don't know.
I will tell you that Szoboszlai is not a 10. He's not a number 10, and I don't know what position is his best position. But the position that he's playing in now, I am not a fan of it. Like, I understand his profile fits.
The position that I told you he should play in preseason that you laughed at.
I still don't think. No, I don't think he should be playing.
I just coming in. I get. But so far, I don't think Slot wants him as an operating 10. I know he's alluded to that. Look, his output needs to be better, but those are just decisions that he needs to improve on. He will get better on those. You see him play a different role for Hungary than he does for Liverpool. We've established that. Right now, it's not his footballing ability, it's his decision making. The quality is there. He's just not brought it to Liverpool. Well, last season, at the beginning of last season, fair enough. He's just not this season. He's just not clicked yet with the ball.
Bobby, I thought he was decent yesterday.
No, yesterday, barring yesterday, look. Every game he's done well, but when it comes to having the ball in possession, he's not a circulator, Asim, like a Curtis Jones is, who's very good with the ball. He will move, pass, keep it short, keep it long, keep it short, keep it long, keep it medium. Szoboszlai isn't that right now. He can be like that. We know the quality that he possesses. I think right now it's his decision making more than anything that's letting him down. That can be nurtured, that can be taught. He can. The player that he is for Hungary is totally different the one that he's Liverpool. So we know he's got those facets and those tools to become that player at Liverpool. But it depends on what Slot wants from him. That's why Arsenal, he's key. He will start because that game will be a messy affair. I think it will be, I liken it to similar to what we saw on Sunday against Chelsea. I think it will be that kind of affair where it's not going to be free-flowing end-to-end. It will be a bit messy majority of the game.
I'm telling you, if that guy couldn't run, he'd be at Middlesbrough. It's the fact that he can run around and cover that much space. That's why he's playing in this team. If he couldn't run, he would be at Middlesbrough, Leeds, or Burnley.
Sarib, you deliberately look for a soundbite.
No.
I thought he's not well.
All jokes aside, as a 10, he's not creative enough for me. Yeah, he covers space really, really well. People look at the metrics saying, "Oh, look against Man United, he created 3 chances," but someone that's playing at the top of the diamond, basically, as a 10. If he's creating 3 chances a game, I don't think that's enough from number 10. You look at Odegaard, look at Bruno Fernandes, look how many chances they create, and they're playing in much more deeper areas.
Odegaard also has had a couple of years to learn that role too. Bruno Fernandes has been flew at Man United for how long?
He can't coach IQ.
This is Szoboszlai's second year. He's still 23. We need to let's give him time. Look, I berated him on Twitter the other day. Some people agreed, some people that said, yeah, look, if he's playing that position, his numbers have to improve. Slot alluded to it. Look, we do want a little bit more from him with the ball, and we do want a little bit more assists, goals. His XG and stuff, I think Asim alluded to it for a couple of weeks ago, said his XG is quite high, but it was the quality of those creations that I questioned, which weren't like, literally like a a slide through pass for a Salah or laid it on a plate for a Diaz or a Nunez or a Jota. It wasn't those. Those chance creations were, it was a little, a pass there and someone's had a shot from like 25 yards. We do want better from him sided, but look, let that come, and hopefully it does come. Because he's going to be a 10-10. He should be a 10-10, regardless of the role that he's been assigned to by Slot. He should be a 10-goal, 10-assist man. Those are easy numbers for this team for him to achieve.
How long are you not going to give him? Because I'll be honest, yeah, he has been like this since probably end of 1 year. It's coming up to end of November last year where he started playing this way.
You can't take him out of the team.
But what do you do then? On the ball, I think he's really bad, and off the ball,
he's not good on the ball. But that's not the reason why you leave him in the team. I unlike Avi and Asim, don't think he played very well yesterday on the ball. But I do think he's a big reason for why our defensive record is so good. And I mentioned this to Asim the other day. I'm afraid if you take him out of the team, we won't be nearly as good defensively as we are with him. And as I mentioned to start the show, that's our calling card right now. We are not conceding goals. So when I'm constructing a team, I have to have him in there, assuming he's fit, regardless of how poor he's performing on the ball, unless our defensive record begins to change for the worse. I can't consider a change with him in the starting 11.
Sarib, would you say Szoboszlai is underappreciated though?
No. Well, why would you say that? His performances don't warrant anything to be appreciated. I'll be honest. Like, I'm being honest.
Yeah, look, that's his opinion.
I'm being honest. Like, I've not enjoyed watching this guy for almost 12 months. I'll be completely honest with you. And yeah, his off the ball work is really, really good. He runs around a lot. He covers space really, really well. I understand that, but on the ball,
but do you think his legs and his counter pressing and the amount of counter attacks that he slows down? I agree with you. His on the ball, play needs to improve. But does he make up for the lack of physicality and technical level that Liverpool? Because at the moment, look, I can give the Chelsea game as an example. When we are first with really, really good players, whether it's in defensive line of Reece James and Colwill putting balls into midfield, whether it's Lavia and Caicedo in midfield or Palmer in the half spaces. We didn't have a lot of the ball on Sunday, and we have to sometimes roll our sleeves up. And I think those moments will come again on Sunday. So at the moment, Slot's team isn't the team that he really wants. He really craves for a lot more control in that team, whether it comes from a lot more natural sixes, Zubimendi is the obvious one, or more technical and physical levels in the back line where we control games a bit more. But at the moment, does he compensate for that lack of physicality in the team?
It's a difficult question. It's a difficult question to answer. I think he's a very good athlete. I look at him and he's a very, very good athlete, and he's a good.
You've seen him for Hungary, right, or not?
Yeah, but he plays in a much.
This is the quality. He's got the quality with the ball. You've seen him at Leipzig as well. He's got the quality, obviously, to change games, to be a creative outlet, to show a bit of ingenuity in the final third. He's got that in himself.
I don't care. I don't care what he does for Hungary. I don't care. What's that got to do with me?
Yeah, no. It says that if you give him time, will come good. Every team, every team. I alluded to back in the years. You had a G-Sing Park for Man United. You had a Dirk Out for Liverpool. These kind of workaholic athletes, right, who would run to the ground, but they would connect the numbers up as well. Jason Park would chip in with goals and assists. Dirk out the same. Chelsea had like maybe a John Obi McKenna who's a bit more deeper, but was an absolute workaholic for that team, sitting in that midfield. They won't be heroes and they won't ever get like a true player. It's like a Jordan Henderson, typical example, but they will always be integral to a team's success. We're judging on the basis of hands out. If we're still winning, I've got no complaints. If Slot wants to put him in every game, I've got no complaints. The minute the train falls off or gets derailed slightly, then you can ask the questions like Jake said. Once if we've got a patch of a season where a blip in the season where we've had a few draws, a few losses, then you can scrutinize this is what's like that man. Look at Curtis Jones a couple of seasons ago. We would be oohing and ahhing and groaning and moaning when he was over delaying that critical pass in the final third because he would still hold on to the ball. He still does it now, Curtis Jones, at times. We want him to release that ball quicker. I think Sobo is going through that motion right now, Asim, for me.
But Gene makes an important point. When Cody Gakpo's Holland performances were highlighted, you were going on about them, Sarib.
Yeah, but my whole thing was he needs to
Well,
play.
it's a good point, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's fair. But my whole narrative for that was he just played.
Sarib,
No, that's all I've asked for. But that's the only thing I could go off. It's Cody Gakpo was not starting games and he was starting centre midfield. And I was like, he's a left winger, just play him left wing. I don't care what he does for Holland, but that's the only thing I could look towards because that's where he was playing. Szoboszlai is not going to play off the wing for Liverpool. He's not going to ever play as the most advanced attacker. It's not going to happen because we have
two. Playing a little bit right wing last night.
Yeah, but it's going to happen on like the 60th, 70th minute, late in the game. He's never going to start games ahead of Mo Salah or a Diaz or a Gakpo on that wing because they're much better players in those positions. It's fair, but that's the only thing I had to go towards. I don't care what Gakpo does for Holland. It doesn't bother me. He can do shit for Holland and good for Liverpool. I don't care, to be honest.
No, you do care because on WhatsApp you've always come for us. On you when it was to do with the Euros, if you play goal and assist,
I think you just like to talk. You don't like to listen.
No, you always say, "Oh, boys, look at Gakpo. Oh my God, look at Gakpo for Holland."
So listen.
Why can't Liverpool do the same with him? You do say that. Let's not get petty. Let's not get petty, but you do.
No, who's being petty? He's not being petty. You keep saying you need to listen. You listen to what I'm saying.
Petty. I said you do that a lot, don't you?
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Cody Gakpo is playing left wing for Holland. He was not playing left wing for Liverpool. We're all in agreement that his position was a left winger. What position do you think Szoboszlai is? Okay, what position is Dominic Szoboszlai?
I'm pretty sure the World Cup in 2022, Gakpo operated centrally as a 9.
Yeah, in a 2, off the left.
No, he
but if you ask Dominic Szoboszlai right now, he would say, "I'm not playing in my preferred place at Liverpool."
That's also fair. That's very fair. That's very fair. But I'm not going to deny his performance has been bad. It's not
where does he want to play?
I couldn't tell you. I said this earlier. I know what position he is.
Dominic Szoboszlai would want to play left-sided midfield on paper, left-sided 10 on the ball.
That's very fair, and that's why I said. I said I don't know what position he is. I don't know where he should play him. I said that. I kept consistent. I said I don't know if he should play. I don't like him in a 10 position. Where else is he going to play? I don't really see anywhere else for him. He's not going to play off the wing.
Just to move, we'll go to another segue now. I said, but just to move, just for Arsenal, would he be in your preferred 3 in midfield against Arsenal?
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Sarib.
Okay. I think kind of have to play him.
You have to play.
Emirates is a big
thing. You can make an argument not to play him for this.
No, that's all I want.
I would. I don't think you have much choice there, to be honest.
He's not my preferred 3 either, Sarib, at the moment. But I would have to play him against Arsenal.
Yeah, same. I agree with you. To be honest, I'm not good. I wouldn't change it for that game, especially.
But if you're playing him, surely that is an acceptance that he brings something to the team.
He does. That's not a lie. He's off the ball. He's ridiculous. We've all established this.
So doesn't that matter?
What do you mean?
Okay, look, he needs to be a lot more expressive. He needs to a lot more output. But at the moment, what he's doing, like I'm just to use your term, is ridiculous off the ball.
It is. It's ridiculous.
We forgot about half the game is off the ball as well.
What?
That whenever we do lose the ball, he's an integral part to winning.
And I'm in agreement there, which is why I don't know what I would do.
Asim, come on, you know, and I know he wasn't essentially brought for off.
Yeah, of course.
He wasn't essentially brought for that. Come on, we brought him from Leipzig as this playmaker, as this genius who's, the next 3-4 years are going to be his sort of creative years, and he had this big billing. Even at Salzburg, went to Leipzig, learned his trade there.
We were comparing him to Odegaard.
Sometimes that happens, especially at big clubs.
Yeah.
Some people don't make that jump.
I agree.
Players don't make that jump. Bobby Firmino, he wasn't bought to be a false 9.
No, but he played false 9 at Hoffenheim.
He was inside left, really. Not the false 9 that you inside left.
False 9 at Hoffenheim.
Not the false 9 that you played at Liverpool.
I'm pretty sure he played with Joe Linton as well.
I think it was Graphite. We can okay.
No, we've seen so many players. We've seen it so many players.
I get. Look, for me, it's just quality. Improve the quality on the ball. We've got a superb player. Right now, we've got a good player who's working in an ideal system the way Slot wants the team to be set out, and I've got no complaints. But the minute that it goes wrong, and it could go wrong, a slight blip, that's when the big question marks will be asked. Because right now, fans are on this sort of positive sort of energy vibe where we're winning games, we're appreciating everyone's work, we're appreciating Szoboszlai's defensive work. Are you going to appreciate the same when things go wrong? And more often than not, fans will turn on him.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it's a fair
the
point.
answer to that is no, of course. Then they listen. People are going after him already as it is.
And by the way, sorry, Jake, Harvey Hedia is not the answer, by the way, either. If people think that we should play Harvey in a 3 with Gravenberch and McAllister or Gravenberch and a Jones, that's not the answer either.
What was the first part that you said? Was not the answer to what?
He's not the answer. You know how they want us to be a bit more creative. They think he's the missing link. Maybe when he comes back fit, Szoboszlai will drop to the bench. So that ain't happening against any big team. Maybe in your cup games you can bring Harvey Elliott on, but it won't be happening when you play tough teams.
No, of course that's not going to happen. I agree with you, and I'm one of Harvey Elliott's biggest fans. But I keep going back to the same thing. But you made a good point. Once the results start changing, then you can start to have a real conversation because it's not working. But right now, it doesn't make any sense to have this conversation. You don't win 11 out of 12 and make a significant change like that to your team. I agree with what Asim is saying. I don't know if I would go and use the word underrated. I'm not sure that's the word that I would use, but it's getting close to that point because people are only focusing on his deficiencies on the ball. And I get that. They are very valid concerns and they're big deficiencies that he has on the ball. As you mentioned, Avi, the talent is there. We've seen him do it in other places. But as Sarib says, and I agree with Sarib, I don't care what he does anywhere else. What he does for Liverpool is all that I care about. And on the ball, he's been lackluster. However, he is such an integral part of our performance defensively. I cannot even consider taking him out of the starting 11, consistently speaking, until the results of these matches start changing for the worse. So as long as we're winning, I have to keep it the same.
So you're gonna wait for it to become. You're gonna wait for Liverpool to start losing to make a change when you can clearly see that there's a problem with him now.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
You're not dropping him yourself.
I know, but
You're not dropping him. You're dropping. You're not dropping. But you have to dropping Szoboszlai yourself. We're asking Jake.
No, I didn't say.
Not wait for a bad result.
You have to give both sides of the argument. You have to give both sides.
No, you said so. You're going to wait for the bad results to start coming in. But you just picked him for the Arsenal game.
No, I just asked.
The biggest match of the season. You picked him for.
I literally just asked the question, just like how you asked the questions. I also.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
So when you play devil's advocate, it's fine. But when I do, I can't.
But it's
I'll do those two.
All I was asking was a question. I was saying we know that he's got deficiencies off the ball. So why would we wait for those deficiencies to come when we lose a game to take him out of the team when it's clear that it's a problem now? That's what I was asking you, and I think that's a fair question to ask. Even if I would,
it's not a fair question because it's not nowhere near the point right now where you're watching the game and saying this is costing us this game. That doesn't happen. So until that happens, there's no need to fix something that isn't broken. It's working. Let's say you take him out of the 11, hypothetically speaking. I'll give you the counter argument to this. Regardless if it's Arsenal or who do we play after Arsenal? I don't even remember.
Brighton in the cup, I think.
Brighton.
Brighton in the league game as well. Let's say you take him out and you lose to Brighton, and that's the first game that you've lost since Forest, just hypothetically speaking. Then what do you say? That was a stupid decision to take Sobo off. So you just leave it as is until something happens to prove to you you need to make a change. You don't fix something that isn't broken. It's working right now.
Fair enough.
Any more questions, Sarib?
No, look,
I'm gonna not play advocate anymore. I'll let you do.
No, just to come with this, Sarib isn't wrong, and I agree with Sarib's points as well. We want to see quality on the ball, but you've got to understand that at the moment it's a system that's working. We're still very early in this project, this tenure under Slot. It will only get better. So look, right now it's almost the perfect start that we've made to the season.
What I would say is, in theory, for his output, being closer to the box, his shots, his connections with the number 9, and running into the box as well, connecting with Salah and Trent. In theory, what we're doing for the last 3-4 weeks should help him. Why? What I mean about that is leaving Gravenberch and the trust that Slot has had him. We're playing more of a 1 and a 2 in midfield, generally speaking, and he's keeping Szoboszlai high, and he should, be creating a lot more situations. So, look, there were good signs yesterday. He connected well a couple of times with McAllister. I think there was one. Gakpo, another one. He slipped him through the legs, and Gakpo had a shot. So there's some signs. It's not going to work overnight. And I agree with Sarib. I wrote the thread on there that I don't see him as a Coutinho or a Maddison type of number 10 where he's got loose hips. He can turn on and put balls around the corner. He's not that type. I see him more of a box-to-box player, but he can receive the ball. He's not bad at receiving the ball in the 10, but he's sometimes decision-making, 100%. That's what it boils down to, decision-making. And even if it's not outside of the box, Avi, in the middle of the pitch, whenever he chests it down, McAllister brings it down, assesses the situation, goes back to the defense and recycles the balls. If he has to go a lateral pass, he will do. Szoboszlai is sometimes too eager to create the momentum and speed in the attack.
Too direct.
We've seen him, yeah. But I think Slot will work. But we've spent a lot of time on Dominic Szoboszlai. I thought Darwin Nunez, Jake, has been showing some good signs over the last. That cameo was really good, and I think he followed up with that performance against Chelsea with another good performance last night.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he played well. I think it was important for him to score yesterday. I mentioned that going into the match that I wanted to see him get a goal under his belt, and he got that. I think we're going to see him start on Sunday. I think that's the most likely scenario. So we need to get this guy a little bit of rhythm going, a little bit of momentum going, especially in the aspect of scoring goals. The one area that I'm a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed in, I think that's too strong of a word, but I'm a little bit eager to see is, we're now 12 games into the season in all comps, and we haven't really seen him while he's on the field being given chances to score, so we can assess whether he's improved his finishing or not. He had the wonder goal against Bournemouth, and he had a tap in yesterday. And aside from that, he had a header yesterday. I don't think he did anything wrong there. I think it was a brilliant save by the keeper. He was in great position. We just haven't seen him been given a lot of chances. So in the back of our head, as supporters, we're still wondering, is this guy improved his finishing or not? And
where was that finish? That one-on-one that he had, was it in the cup game he had, and he put it in the back of the net. Beautiful finish. A bit like Nicholas Jackson against Sunday, but it was called offside. What game was that?
I don't remember which match it was, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That was the brilliant.
Bologna, was it?
Yeah, that's the one. Bologna.
Oh, it was offside.
But that was the only chance I've seen him a real one-on-one he scored. Sorry, Jake.
No, so I'm just saying I'm eager to see where we are with this player. Yes, he's playing well. His performances have been good, but the only one part that's missing is the one part that's always been there, which is chances falling to his feet. And I'm not blaming him for that by any means. I think it's a lot to do with the type of football that we're playing right now. It's just an eagerness from my part to see where he stands when it comes to his finishing, because, we've talked about this so many times with this player. We need to see him start taking his chances. The goal he scored yesterday, I thought was fantastic. And I honestly think, I don't mean from a finishing standpoint, I just mean in general, I think it's silly that people are giving him, shtick for taking that goal. I mean, you can't just assume that ball's going in. It's 50-50 on whether it hits the post and goes in or not.
Oh, yeah.
And if it hits the post and it doesn't go in, you don't take that chance. You bag the goal when you can bag it and you move on. So
100%.
It makes no sense for anybody to give him any kind of shtick for taking that goal. I mean, you have to finish.
Avi, what's impressed me over the last, 150 minutes or so that he's played over the last week is I had a bit of a go at him. I think it was against Bologna. And I said, if he's wants to become an integral part of the team, the ball has to stick when it goes up. That was obviously a different challenge. In hindsight, I shouldn't have sort of made those comments because I should have considered the lack of time that he's had over the course of the season. I think he mentioned it himself in one of these inside training videos as well, when they gave him this FIFA rating or something, and he said, I've only started one game or something, and it was on the steps. So he knows that he needs to play a lot more games. But over the last 150 minutes or so, I've been really impressed with his touch and his technical level when he's on the halfway line and he's held up play, and not only held up play, but connected play. And for me, if you really want to become a mainstay in this Arne Slot side, you have to be doing that. Jota's strength isn't that, but his probably a bit better at it in a different style, a lot more direct, and just bulldozes through his way through defenders. But I've been really impressed with Nunez's touch for the last game or so.
He looks as if he's been told to play with a bit more control and to slow everything down a notch. We've seen him be this sort of battering ram and this, chaos that, and we fell in love with it. You know, that's not a lie. We wanted him to succeed. We were talking about his assists rather than his goals, and he's got 30 goals and assists last season. Blah 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 blah. This season, I think he's been told that, and I hope in an ideal situation, Slot has held him back a little bit and said, "Look, this is my style of football, and these what we're going to do going forward." And especially in the last two games, Asim, I thought Chelsea was a tailor-made game for him. I did think that he should have been the one. Not maybe got the nod, but I thought him against Towson and Colville was a better match than Jota. I think they can handle the small
I
strikers.
know what you mean.
They were comfortable, but with Nunez, he was everywhere. He was drifting out on the right, drifting out from the left, centrally, and he wasn't running through them. He was picking his passes. He was challenging them at the right time. He was protecting Salah or Gakpo if they were, getting fouled, or if the opposition was riding them up. And he does that all the time. He will always protect his own. And Sunday, I thought he deserved a goal. That performance against Chelsea, he deserved a goal. Yesterday, it wasn't a great finish, but the anticipation to be there. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you just need a tap in or a goal that goes off your backside to get you going in that little momentum. And hopefully he can carry this through, because if he's the Darwin Nunez, and it's not a newer version. I'm not going to say as if all of a sudden he's been revolutionized under Slot, but if this new sort of controlled Darwin Nunez is gonna keep this up going towards till the end of the season, then we've got a player who will be scoring 20 goals plus. That's what I see. I think he will hit that 20 goal barrier finally. And look, I've alluded to it again many times. The work that Slot did under Feyenoord with Santiago Gimenez, the 2 years that he spent with him, he turned him into a 25, 30 goal striker. I'm hoping that he can transition what he did there to Darwin Nunez at Liverpool. But I think
Sarib, you're scratching your head, you're scratching your neck. I saw a little smirk break out when the chip was speaking. Tell me what you think.
I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying. I think what he's saying is the right things. I think he's saying Nunez has looked a bit better this season, much more controlled, and he's not as chaotic as he's been under the previous regime under Klopp. But that would obviously make sense because of the system and the way that we play. But he's always going to be a player that's going to cause an issue, regardless of his inability to finish. He's always going to be a problem. His profile is a problem. The way he runs in behind is a problem. He's big, he's strong, he's good in the air. It's not a lie. The issue with him has never been that. His issue with Nunez has always been when he gets in front of the goal and he has time, he turns into Nicholas Bentner, and that's it.
Why would you name an ex-Arsenal player though? Why? Why does it always?
It comes naturally to him. It comes naturally.
It had to be Nicholas Bentner. All the strikes you could have picked around the world. The millions of strikes you probably
I
seen
thought
in
you
your
were
life.
going to say Benteke.
Nicholas Bentner, full Arsenal scholar, comes to your mind.
No,
I thought you were going to say Benteke.
all jokes aside. I think the idea of him is a lot better than what he is, and that's very fair. We all want him to do well. I think if this guy gets going, we got a serious player, because he's got everything you want in a striker. That's not a lie. He just needs to be able to finish, and that's the only issue with him. And some reports coming out saying, "Oh, he's not been given a fair chance under Arne Slot," and this and that. It was nonsense I'm hearing. It's just the simple truth is, if he could score, he'd be in the team. It's very simple. And Jota does that on a much more frequent basis with much less chances. But yeah, he has looked better this season. Thought against Chelsea he was very, very impressive, even though he didn't contribute to a goal or assist. I thought he was very, very impressive. His overall game was impressive. I thought he was good yesterday. He always seems to be in and around the box, proper poacher. And I like that about players, that they know they're always. Haaland is like that. Haaland, he always anticipates something to happen before it happens, and then eventually it happens and he scores. And no, but long may it continue. If Nunez carries on playing the way he is, then no problem. I'm not going to say he's going to score 20 goals a season, because I don't think he's going to be here by the end of the season. I don't think he's going to get many games, but hopefully I get proven wrong.
To be fair, Sarib, I've got a little rebuttal for you. Jota hasn't really cemented that 9 position either. He might have been suited to it early on. He's been suited to it with Slot, but I don't think he's really cemented that position as his own. And here's Darwin's chance.
Has he scored this season?
Sorry,
Has he scored this season, Jota?
Yeah, Ipswich.
He scored 2 against West Ham in the cup as well.
In the cup, but I don't think he's really cemented that 9 for me. And I think
Palace.
I think Arsenal. I think the Arsenal game. I think Nunez, if Jota is, I think Nunez will.
I agree with Abi. He hasn't cemented that 9 position. He hasn't been that good.
Yeah, but
Jota, I agree with you. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to be consistent. I said this last season. I don't think you can coach someone to become better at finishing. I think that's just in you. It's installed in you to know what to do in front of the goal. And I don't think Arnie Slot is going to... Yeah, we'll see in it. That's why I'm going to give him a season. And that's why I didn't ask him for him to be sold. But I don't think you can coach.
If a player can learn to be more composed in front of goal, your finishing that'll come naturally to you. I get what you're saying. But if a player, he's never had that composure in front of goal, Sarib, in the last 2 years. That's the fact. Like, how many times has he how many times has he snatched out a chance? The Everton chance when we were going for the title at Goodison Park. That's just one. But how many times have we seen him? The Arsenal game at home last season, he should have had 4 goals, right? I think he got 1. He misses the penalty as well. I get what you're saying, but if he learns the composure, that the finishing, that'll instinctively come. That's how it works. I'm not a brain or a practitioner, but I'm just telling you that's how it works for a striker. And then momentum. You're saying you don't think it will. I'm hoping it will. I get.
No, I'm hoping. I'm hoping too.
I'm hoping it will. Yeah.
I'm hoping as well. Sorry, Jake wanted to say something. Sorry, Jake.
Okay. Shall we get the customary Ryan Gravenberch segment out of the way? Who's going to go first?
Jake. This has to be Jake.
Well, you can. You're his biggest fanboy, Asim. You go first. You've been talking about Gravenberch.
There we go. So can we get this out of the way for the millionth time? Give me one person that said Ryan Gravenberch's defensive capabilities are like Fabinho-like. These are not my words. Even Arnie Slot has been surprised by Ryan Gravenberch's sort of game understanding, game intelligence, game reading, and defensive capabilities. So why are you guys, whenever I wax lyrical about Ryan Gravenberch, why do you guys come for me on Twitter like saying, "Oh, we're glad you rate him now"? Like, when did I say that Ryan Gravenberch is not a good footballer?
I do not run my Twitter account. If that's what they've been doing.
You always go for me, and this time joined in.
I just do it because I'm a troll.
I go after Sarib every day as a grab, but I don't go after.
For the record, we're all pleasantly surprised at what he's doing. We all knew he had the ability on the ball. His ball carrying, his ball press resistant, unbelievable. And like just what I just touched on earlier, guys, is that we're playing this 1+2 structure in midfield. I think it's showing a lot more trust in Ryan Gravenberch's ability to control the tempo of a game and control the game in general by himself, generally speaking. And it allows our number 2/8s and relieve a bit of pressure from the centre backs as well. So, look, we all knew he had that ability, but the ability that he's showing every game, Jake, I'm seeing Ryan Gravenberch duels, Ryan Gravenberch interceptions. This is the aspect of the game that has surprised everyone, including our manager.
Yeah, he had a massive
moment. Jake.
He had a massive moment in yesterday's match where he tracked all the way back, basically to our own goal line to defend an attack. I don't remember exactly which moment it was in the match. I want to say probably 70th or 80th minute. It was late in the match. But as you said, I mean, his defensive work has surprised all of us, myself included. The reason why I was never worried about him taking that 6th position when the season started, and I'll be honest, is because I assumed we were going to be controlling the ball. And if we have the ball, it's going to be less of an emphasis on the defensive work that he's going to have to put in. Now, if I'm being honest, I think we've had probably less control in some games than I've anticipated. And that's only given Gravenberch more of an opportunity to showcase the defensive work rate that he has, the knowledge that he has, his ability to read the game. He's often in position. He's tracking back, winning the ball back, winning duels, as you mentioned. Listen, 12 matches into the season, all comps, he's the best player on the team right now. And I don't think it's even close as far as consistency in all of the performances from the start of the season until now, he's been our best performer. Whether that's going to continue from now until the end of the season remains to be seen. But I've long maintained I don't see his performance dropping significantly, consistently between now and the end of the season. He's going to continue performing at a high level. I'm very confident that the performances we've been seeing from him, we're going to continue seeing from him.
Javi, I think this is a brilliant. Oh, sorry, my mouse has gone. Battery's gone dead. If someone puts that ARK comment on the screen,
Your mouse or my mouse?
it's my mouse.
Everybody needs their mouse today, huh?
This one?
I think this is a brilliant comment, Avi. I loved it when Verge grabbed him and he just let out a smirk. The boy just needed someone to believe in him.
I don't know if you remember, Asim. You're probably going to deny it now, but I'm going to have to.
Oh no, I don't deny it.
I'm going to have to get the clip, but I did say that having Slot will be so important for the player because he's Dutch manager. I did say it. I think Sarib.
No, you did. You did. I do remember.
First time, I think Sarib agreed with me in the summer, and then you and actually Gene ridiculed me for that comment. Like,
no, why would I? Why would I ridicule?
Because you say things and then you go, but no, I didn't mean it like that.
Why would I? I've just admitted. I've just given Avi the credit that he did say this. But it's like give me an example. Like give me like a German player that Jurgen Klopp was really close to. Götze or Julian Brandt, Royce. It's like me saying them guys come to Liverpool and you know they won't benefit by Jurgen Klopp being the manager. It's just natural, isn't it? So if you think I said that, you should go get the clip because it's only fair, isn't it?
I had this debate with my friend off camera. Gravenberch's football is much more suited to the way Slot plays than to the way Klopp plays. Klopp is a lot more intense, a lot more direct. Gravenberch is a player that likes to drive with the ball, have a bit of time on the ball, dance around with it a bit. So is McAllister, Szoboszlai as well. The way we're playing now suits our players a lot better than we were always doing under Jurgen Klopp. And that's not to knock Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp did amazing things with the squad last season, but I think this much more controlled approach looks a lot better, especially for Ryan Gravenberch. And plus, the one thing I'd say, Asim, we can't. My friend said this to me. It's been different with Gravenberch. You can't deny his ability. The thing that's changed with him is his maturity. His maturity has been ridiculous this season. He's playing in a position new to him as well.
He needed that year, Sarib. And look, I think it's all on. I think the majority of the work has been him. We've got to give the player the credit. Yes, Slot has come in and he's given his probably thesis on how he wants him to play. Being Dutch, being able to explain things in their own native language is probably a bonus. Obviously, Gakpo, Van Dijk, but it's been on the player as well. We can't forget that. He's had an extra year. He will know the demands that Liverpool, the expectations at Liverpool. He would have learned that at Ajax and Bayern Munich. This is his third, and the clubs that he's played for already at 21, 22, three of the biggest institutions, the three biggest sort of echelons of clubs in world football. The European Cups between the three of those clubs, you know, it must be double figures. But he would have learned from last season. The injuries, the in and out of form, the early start where he got a bit of momentum and, you know, everyone liking what we saw and everyone was saying that we got a bargain. Then his loss of form and everyone said, what a waste of space. Another Dutch player, blame Linders, blame this, blame who, blame that. He must have learned a lot in the summer. He's come back and he looks different. He looks absolutely, people are saying it, different gravy. And we're not talking about your bistro gravy that goes with your mashed potato. We're talking about real caramelized onion gravy because that's what he's shown us. Player of the season, like Jake said, for us, most probably one of the players of the season, regardless in the Premier League. Van Dijk probably runs him close. But no, he's been absolutely phenomenal. And look, we just want it to continue. We don't want it to be a spur or a short stint at 2-3 months where we were waxing lyrical. We want to be waxing lyrical of Gravenberch over the course of the season. And long may it continue because he is absolutely brilliant right now. And look, he's back in the Dutch. Mark Koeman had some damning words last year. He's brought him back in now. So that says a lot.
I have a question for you, Asim, and you know what I'm going to ask you because we talked about this before. And obviously, same question applies to you. If you bring Zubi into this team in January,
I knew this was coming.
How do you fit him into the starting 11? What is the solution to this question? Because for me, it doesn't work. I'm okay with bringing Zubi in for depth, but he's not starting over Gravenberch. and there's no place for him to start in either of the other two positions. So as a starting 11, he doesn't get into my starting 11. How does he fit into this team for you?
Well, that's with every player that comes in. Can I just take this as every player that comes in, Jake, it's not a free pass. Whether Zubimendi signs or not in January, if that is the case, if there's speculation that's ramped up again, if he comes in, it's not a foregone conclusion that he comes in straight away. You don't ruin a winning rhythm. You don't. You never do that. Everyone knows that in any sport. But he will definitely have a place in this team long term in the first 11 because he's a special footballer. Zubimendi is a special footballer. Gravenberch is showing that he wants to be that special footballer. 12, 13 games in, he's showing that if he does this throughout the Christmas period, then yeah, Zubimendi will have to bide his time. But he will still get his chances. He will still be playing in Europe if we're there. He will still get starts in the Premier League. It's great to have options. I'd rather have a Zubimendi than a Wataru Endo. Unfortunately, who's not going to get that chance. You know, we've seen he's not going to get that chance. Slot it seems as if he's not a big fan of him or Tyler Morton. If we can maybe offload one of them and a player of Zubimendi's ilk comes in, we're strengthening the squad. We want nothing more.
I agree with all of that 100%. That I agree with 100%.
Sarib?
I think I answered this a couple of weeks ago, but I think obviously opinions can change. I'm not saying I've changed my opinion, but I just wanted to see Grav do it in some of the bigger games, and I think we're going to see more and more and more and more and more. But after watching those two games against Chelsea and Leipzig, I'm much more convinced than I would have been if I saw him play against Wolves, Bournemouth, Forest, etc., etc. I think that's very, very fair because you see the elite of the elite in the bigger games and how they progress themselves in those kind of games rather than the lower league teams, because we're going to dominate the ball in those matches. But in if Zubi comes in, I said I would play him alongside McAllister because I want to play a 6 and number 6. But now it's definitely a conversation where we need to.
You think Zubi and McAllister works?
I said that before, and I still think that works really, really well. But obviously, you can't deny Gravenberch's form. What do you do then?
I don't think Mac and Zubi works.
Mac and Zubi 100% works. If you want complete control in midfield, that works 100%.
I 100% think that works. Why doesn't that work?
I don't think it's physical enough.
That's ultimate control.
I
think
I would have the ball for majority of the game to have that control. I'm not sure against a physical team. I don't think it works against an Arsenal. Put it that way.
It's not any less physical than we are now.
No, I think we're more physical now. I think Gravenberch is physical. Szoboszlai is physical. Okay, McAllister.
Szoboszlai's still on the field.
I don't think having two short midfielders in that sort of pivot in the 2 6s, I don't think that works.
It
works alongside Gravenberch, Zubi, and a Mac maybe works, yeah. Or it's the Szoboszlai, Zubi, and a Gravenberch works. I don't think a McAllister, Zubi, or a Jones works necessarily.
You think Grav is that much more physical than Zubimendi? I don't think so.
I don't think Gravenberch is a physical player at all. I'll be honest.
I don't either.
I think he's showing physical attributes.
He's showing it this season, but over the last
showing physicality.
You would think a man of Gravenberch stature, you would hope that he would have some physical stature about him. And he's shown it this season. He hasn't been bundled up to the goal like he has last season. He's winning his duels this season as well.
He's not making crunching tackles. He's playing intelligently. He's showing awareness. He is winning duels, but he's not playing physically. He's playing smart. I don't think you take him off the field and bring Zubimendi in and you become less physical. I'm not saying he's not doing a good job defensively. I just don't think it's a physical aspect that he's bringing to the team.
I totally get the control. Barcelona had Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta popping off, right, for many years, right? Yes, but Busquets was a physical specimen, that team too. Okay, he was that sort of that middleman, that DM that allowed these two, and plus, look, they had Messi, they had David Villa, they had Pedro popping off from the wings and whatnot. Okay, I think a player of Zubi's ilk is pivotal to the way we set out. I think Asim agrees as well. The ultimate slot team, the machine that he wants to build, it needs to have a Zubimendi player.
But you're saying Zubi and Mac don't work, so then you're bringing Zubi in and you're taking Grav and Mac off the field. Who's playing?
I think it can work, but you obviously need a Gravenberch. I think a Gravenberch, Zubi in the middle works, and then a McAllister maybe further up. I don't think rather like a right or a left. I don't think that works. You saw it in Spain. What was Spain's midfield when you had it? You had a Fabian Ruiz, who's physical. You had a Zubimendi came on for Rodri. Who was the third midfielder again? It wasn't Pedri because Pedri was injured for the final. Who was the third midfielder for Spain?
Was it that number 10, Olmo or something? I can't remember.
Dani Olmo. So they let Dani Olmo. McCarthy can do that Olmo role in that 10.
Yeah,
right? Floating. But you'd have to have like a Gravenberch who would be your Fabian Ruiz and then a Zubimendi.
Right. This is a super chat, guys, which sort of links in with our topic at the moment. Thank you very much. What's good? Big up for the super chat. He says, I think it's very evident we need Zubi, a passer, a facilitator. One reason being we can't sustain pressure against anyone. He enhances that. How many times, Jake, have you seen Busquets mentioned by Avi, the great Barcelona side, sustain attacks, keep popping and pin opposition in the last third, and then Rodri for Man City, left and right, keep it moving. That metronome in midfield, outside the box.
Are you metronome the bacha? All right, good one.
You like that word? A tempo controller.
Zubi is the metronome.
He's the metronome, isn't he? I think that is Gravenberch's biggest challenge, Jake. If he makes a lot more passes, and the signs are good, Liverpool are giving him the ball a lot more. He's circulating the ball a lot more. Easy passes, keep it ticking, shift the opposition, and then move when it's the right time. I think that is the biggest challenge. And when we do pin opposition, he needs to be nicking it off that striker and then just keep the attacks going from left to right. I think that's his challenge. But what he's done in the last 12 games, I think is unbelievable. But
do you think we have issues sustaining attacks? I'm not sure I agree with that assessment. I'm not going to sit here and say that we've been, perfect at it all season. We've had some issues, but that's not a glaring weakness that we've had over the course of 12 matches.
I think we'll be able to tell. I can't judge Liverpool sustaining attacks against someone like West Ham or Brentford even. I have to see them against City, Arsenal. We've seen them against Chelsea as well.
You're not going to be sustaining attacks against City and Arsenal, even if you bring Zubimendi into the team.
In that second half against City,
you know better.
We sustained attacks against City last year at Anfield. We sustained attacks against Arsenal in the second half against Anfield. So we've done it, and we did it with Endo.
At home, it's a little bit different of a story, but yes, you have a point there, especially the City match. We dominated that game.
But this is what you have to give credit, or you have to back the manager and say this is not his full team. He's inherited this squad, bar Enrico Chiesa. Sorry,
far from it, by the way. He has of his, of what he wants into this team.
So let's see. But I think what he's doing, I think it's an interesting conversation. If you want me to answer your question, Jake, I do think we need Zubimendi. But
so you bring him in. Who's starting with Zubimendi? Because I know you're starting Zubimendi. You're starting Zubi.
This is gonna be controversial. If he comes in, my midfield.
He's gonna say Tyler Morton, isn't he?
On the big day, would be Zubimendi, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai.
That's what I said.
No,
you're taking Mac off the field.
He's our best midfielder.
I think Gravenberch's progressive passing and carrying from that double pivot position is just as good, and then he can play high as well. He can receive the ball back to goal. He can go into the box and get those connections as well. He might not get as many goals as McAllister, but he can be involved as much.
You still think he's better suited further forward? I don't.
I don't know. Look, I knew it was going to be controversial. I knew it was going to be controversial.
That's fair.
But yeah.
I'm happy that you said it rather than me saying it, because if I said it, oh goodness me.
I can't. I agree.
Jingo's logging off.
Thank you. Yes, we got it actually. Come on.
But wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be nice though, to be able to have that option?
Yeah, of course we need the options. 100%.
Right now we've got Curtis Endo, we've got Trey Naoni on the bench, Curtis Jones or Szoboszlai. Wouldn't it be nice to have like a Zubimendi who can come in, give him the last sort of 4 or 5 months of the season if we're top of the league, and just let him sort of ease himself in? because look, he's a phenomenal footballer. He is a brilliant footballer. And let's see, and then you got Badicic, obviously at Salzburg, who isn't really putting up any trees yet. He does need a few, he needs a lot of game time. And see where we are next season. But that's another question for down the line. Let's not talk about that. So much.
Okay. I think we sent you guys to go for Asim for that joke take. Let's get another super chat. Yo, what's good? He's on the roll tonight. Thank you very much, bro. Osis. Grav isn't a passer. He's a carrier, in my opinion. Grav is pivotal for me because of his reception between the lines and manipulation. We're just missing a passer. But I kind of disagree. I know what he's saying, but slot for him to go +1/+2 in the last couple of weeks shows Ryan Gravenberch is also a passer. He's got that switch to Trent. He's got that switch to Salah. He's got that switch as well. There's no angle bias for Ryan Gravenberch. He can go either way, and like he says, he can carry it and he can drop a shoulder and go wherever he wants. So look, I know that Chin goes, wait, sent you guys going to go for Asim. See you guys going to go for Asim.
I think even aren't you going for Asim?
Aren't you guys? Chin's, aren't you? Yeah. His spelling hasn't improved in Pakistan, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a very joke. I agree with you 100%.
Look, I love. Look, let me get it straight before I get clipped. I absolutely love McAllister as a player, but we were just playing. I didn't want to sit on the fence, and I said on the big day because against low opposition, McAllister can play on the right hand side and he can sit in the double pivot. And Ryan Gravenberch can play high, so it works. It's a luxury.
McAllister's passing range, I think, is better than Gravenberch. Though he might not receive the ball as good as Gravenberch, but Gravenberch is a ridiculous profile of a player, and he's been like that since he was brought up.
I think when we visualize something, it looks great on paper, but when we see it in actual real time, it doesn't look so great. Look, Barcelona in that Spain squad, they had Busquets, they had Iniesta and Xavi, but the league was also less intense as it was in the Premier League as well. You're asking Gravenberch, you're asking McAllister and Zubi almost, they're not the tallest of players to play in in tandem. I don't think it works.
Okay, guys, let's move on. Atik says, might as well take Graf out and do it there instead.
I wouldn't mind that.
A few really notable mentions. Kelleher was brilliant again. I thought Shimaka's set pieces were really good. He made one mistake in the first 3-4 minutes. I thought he was
Salah on the goal.
You get credit, by the way. Costa Simicast, weeks on end sometimes doesn't get a game. He'll always have one clanger though at the beginning of the game, but then he settles in. He's been a brilliant understudy, or a brilliant sort of a recovery man, I like to call him, because Robertson does need that break now once in a while. Simicast never lets his team down. The Greek Scouser, top player. Really like him. I like his attitude as well. He could have left, a couple of summers ago, last summer. He stayed with it. Maybe there wasn't that much interest, or maybe we just tried to price him out. But he's always been there, and he chips in with his fair few assists as well.
I genuinely believe he is not as bad as people make him out to be, especially for the amount of games he plays, having no match rhythm. I don't think he's as bad as people make out to be. I know we all want that Gavardio profile, but I don't think Slot wants that anyway. He likes playing with the fullbacks how it is now, and Simicast seems to be doing that fine. Yeah, sometimes he can get caught out of position because his first onus is to go forward, and maybe that's what he's been instructed to do. But generally speaking, I see him when he comes in, I don't have an issue with it. Whenever even against Crystal Palace, his patterns of play with Gakpo on the left, it resulted into a goal. He got assist against AC Milan. Yesterday, I thought he was very impressive. He got man of the match yesterday, maybe unjustly, but I thought he was impressive yesterday. And I think people wait for Simicast to have a bad game, then go for him, saying he's not good enough. But when he plays well, no one blinks and I says, oh, okay, it's whoever we played. But I think he's not as bad as people make out to be. Maybe not as a Liverpool standard, but people make him out to be like he's flipping, I don't know. He's a very bad left back. He's a really, really shit left back. Kieran Gibbs. Yeah, they make him out to be like, no, I don't want to say Arsenal player, but I end up saying Arsenal player anyway. But I don't think he's.
Kieran Gibbs is a very good player. Only injuries stopped him from becoming like an Ashley Cole like career. He was a very good player. Very good player. He had some nasty injuries, very nasty injuries. Kieran Gibbs was a top player. Sarib, if you talk to true Arsenal fans like you're in London, ask him about early on how good Kieran Gibbs was. He was,
They've been crying.
he was better than Ashley Cole.
Ask me. They've been crying out for a left back for 10 years. They're still crying out for a left back.
Injury, Gail Clichy, another top defender. Injuries, man. Injuries killed him. Asim, I do want to talk about one man, though. I don't give him probably enough credit, but I've always liked him. The reason I don't give him credit is because he breaks down every so often. Ibu Konate, absolutely superb. For me, getting that French captaincy ahead of a few others in that French team speaks volumes of the character that he is. What an absolute monster of a defender. For me, he's levels ahead of any other French defender there is. And I rate Jules Koundé, by the way. I rate him highly, but I know he's the right back at Barca right now. But Ibu Konate, on top of his game, sensational.
Jake, I want to come to you. I'm sure I read a message on WhatsApp yesterday from you. You didn't think Konate was. What did you say?
I don't think Konate was at his best yesterday.
Neither did I.
Listen,
I'm kind of generalizing. I thought he was fine yesterday, but I'm kind of generalizing the Chelsea game. I'm just kind of talking about Ibu Konate. I don't give him enough credit. For me, it's a personal thing, like, because I get frustrated with him and Jota when it comes to injuries. I want to give him his props because he has got the French captaincy as well, ahead of other defenders or other midfielders, players in the front squad. So props to Ibu Konate, Ibrahima Konate.
I thought Konate had a good game. Bar one in the second half when he came out.
I'm not going to say he was poor. He wasn't at his best yesterday.
I agree.
Listen, when he's at his absolute best, you're talking about a very, very high level. And yet for yesterday, it was more so on the ball. He turned the ball over a couple of times, which led to some transitions going the other way. He made a couple of mistakes. Defensively, I'm not sure if there were any mistakes by him, but on the ball, he turned the ball over a couple of times in bad situations. When he tried to dribble through the defense, they took it from him. I think he misplaced a ball or two that also led to some transitions going in the other way. I'm nitpicking when I say that he wasn't at his best because I hold him to a very, very high standard. I'm not saying he didn't play well. He didn't play up to his typical standard is all that I'm saying. He's a fabulous player. I agree with everything Javi said. He's a fantastic defender.
Okay.
This is the first time he's ever played 9 straight matches without getting hurt. So we're pushing it with this guy.
Long may it continue. Let's just briefly look. I know we'll talk about the Arsenal game a lot. Come tomorrow and the next few days for the big one on Sunday. Sarib, how do you see that game panning out on Sunday? And any team surprise? I think Saka will play for Arsenal. I think Timber might play for Arsenal as well. But let's concentrate for Liverpool at the moment. Who would you go for in midfield and attack? Because I think we'll all agree as to who plays in the back five.
I would go unchanged bar Robertson for Tsimikas. I think or the rest of it. No, I'd put Diaz on the left as well. I'd put Diaz and Robbo back in, take Tsimikas and Gakpo out. But I think against a fullback like Ben White, I think he will start at right back. You need somebody that's quick and sharp on the turn. And I think Diaz gives you that off the left-hand side rather than Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo is much more intent on going on the inside rather than going on the outside, whereas Diaz can do both a lot better than as a whole than Cody Gakpo because he's a lot quicker and he's a lot more agile than Cody Gakpo because of Gakpo's size as well. I think against a fullback like Ben White, who's I like to call them centre-back fullbacks because they operate not only as a fullback, but they can operate centrally as well. And they're a lot bigger than your natural right-backs, like Arsenal play with 4 centre-backs. I think you need someone that can isolate in 1v1. And I think Ben White sometimes 1v1 can be a bit of a problem. And I think Diaz isolates his fullbacks a lot better than Cody Gakpo. I'm not saying Gakpo can't do it, but in a game like this where, Ben White's not the quickest of fullbacks as well, I think you need somebody on that wing that can, definitely cause a bit of a problem for White. And I think Robertson is the natural replacement for Tsimikas. I think you need experience in this game. I think Robertson's been quite good this season, I'll be honest, especially playing conventional. He's been a lot better this season. I think we've seen Robertson, play to the level that I've not seen him play for a couple of years. So credit to him. But apart from that, I think it's going to be unchanged. Trent, Konate, Ibu, midfield will be the same. Sobo, Nunez, Salah, Diaz. I don't think we have much room to wiggle with anyway, to be honest.
Jake, would you agree with that team?
Yeah, I think the midfield picks itself. As you said, the back five picks itself. If there's any question,
Direct.
You know what? I'm gonna get a new mic. Fuck this Yeti. I'm gonna get a new mic. Sorry for the language, but you know what?
AK says audio
It's fine.
sounds
It
fine to
sounds
me.
fine to me, Jake. I think it's fine. It's fine to me. It doesn't
No,
sound
Jake's
like
is bullshit. He's speaking to the laptop speakers. At least I've got a wannabe microphone here that's trying to work, but it's not.
No, Jake's got a new iPad now.
Correct. I agree with what Sarib said. I think the only question is at left wing, and I think Diaz is going to get the nod. I'm assuming Jota's not going to be fit to start, so I'm going with Darwin there. And I think even if Jota is fit, I might go with Darwin anyways, if I'm being honest. So I think the team basically picks itself. I don't think there's too much to decide here.
Avi, you like a nice little surprise? If you were Arnie Slot, who would you pick?
I think I'm gonna go Tyler Morton.
No. There's no surprises for me. No real change. I think I agree with Sarib. Robert will come in for Tsimikas, Konate, Van Dijk, Trent, obviously, Kelleher, obviously, Alisson's still out. Midfield speaks for itself. Grav, Sobo, and Mac. Front three, Nunez gets ahead of Jota for me. Look, Arsenal are there for the taking, Asim. We shouldn't be settling for a draw or anything less than a win. They're there for the taking. I think Robertson is I think he'll have a comfortable game with Saka. Odegaard, I think he'll still be out. I know you said he might be back. I think he'll be out. Calafiori's out. Saliba's out. These are our chance to. And we've had uncomfortable meetings at the Emirates. It's not one of our favourite grounds. We do kind of find trouble in that space on that pitch. But I think they're really there for the taking, guys, and we need to go there and win. Open up a 7-point lead. I think it could be curtains for Arsenal. I think for them, I think that's where they could potentially crumble.
It's a shame though, because I did want to see best 11 v best 11 to see how it pan out this season with the likes of Saliba and Odegaard, just to see how mature
You might see a handful down the line. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, but
why would you want to see?
I do not.
You want to see Liverpool playing against a weekend Arsenal team, don't you?
Of course, because that gives us more likelihood to win. But
you're a neutral fan. I understand that you want to see a spectacle between both teams, both fully fit players. But
I think you're just nitpicking at anything. I think you're just
play the reserve team. I don't care if they want to play their first team. I'm going there to win. I want to win the league. I don't care. I don't want to see anyone else from Arsenal team. I hope all this sentimental, respectful thing that it'd be nice to see them fit. It's the league was fit. No, why? Why do I want to play against a strengthened Arsenal team? It's harder. It's hard as it is going to the Emirates, and they will make a fist of it. They'll make it very ugly that game. But I want to play them at their weakest, and that's where they are right now.
You're literally just arguing with the wall. It's completely not what I said. All I said.
I heard what you said, and that's all I need to hear. I'm sorry.
Because you have hearing problems. I said I would have liked to seen us at our best versus them at their best.
I don't want to see them at their best, though. Why would you want to see Arsenal at their best? Explain to me.
Because then I can say fair enough. Like if we go there and put them away 3-0 and they're at their best, I'll be like flipping out. This team is serious. Like again, now just like we did last season, they're gonna be like, oh, we didn't have Saliba, we didn't have Odegaard.
I don't care what their fans talk about. I don't care what their fan channels talk about. So I don't even listen to their fan channels. Obviously, you do because you got a soft spot for them. I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what he's doing. Without Rodri, without all the top players for Arsenal, I want to play them at all their weakest. I want to win this league.
I know what you're
because
doing.
we've suffered enough. One league title in 6-7 years is not enough for me. I want to beat the best. I want to beat them whether they're at their weakest or at their worst. Please do not talk nonsense. If you're a neutral fan, I get that. If you're 50-50, half Liverpool first year, half Liverpool, you want to scarves, isn't it? Half 50-50 scarves. But we're not going for that shit.
I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly what you're trying to do, and you got the reaction that you wanted. Are you happy now?
No, you said that. No, those words came from you. I would have liked to have seen. Why do you want to see that as a Liverpool fan? Do you not want to see your nearest rivals at the weakest point?
Because I want us to test ourselves against the best. That's why. That's
we got Real Madrid down the line 2 weeks ago. That's when we will test ourselves against the best, okay? Because obviously you think this season we haven't played anyone notable. You probably thought the Chelsea was an easy game anyway for us, and you're gonna say, "Oh, we haven't played anyone though. We haven't played anyone though." Stop this! You can't.
Again. I understand you want your attention, so I'm going to give you a bit of attention now. So if you go back into the show, I said I'm in a much more comfortable position, and I voice noted you as well. We had a conversation with I said I'm in a much more comfortable position now than I was a couple of weeks ago because we've played teams now that are decent. And I always said, all of us were in attendance when I said this, that I'm going to have a better assessment of Liverpool and how the season will go after this run of games where we play fucking half the world, half the best teams in the world, your Villas, your Real Madrid, Leverkusen, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's very, very fair. And that is not a mad take to say. Testing yourselves against the best teams is how you fairly assess how good a team's going to do this season. Because, like Asim said before, you don't look at Liverpool.
If we beat Arsenal on Sunday, are you going to make that excuse?
Let me finish.
Oh, but they were injured.
Let me finish.
No, you're
but
going to try to put context on something that doesn't make sense at all.
why?
Arsenal should have a big enough squad to replace the likes of Calafiori, Odegaard, Saka. We've got squad. We're not complaining. They should have the same squad. You know, Sarib, you can't just say that. You can't just say that like, oh, I wish that they had. No, it doesn't matter. Everyone has injuries throughout the season. Man City are going through the season now without Rodri. That's a massive blow for them. You don't see them crying about it every week now, do you? They accept it.
Who's crying? Who's crying?
You are, because they said I would have liked to have seen Arsenal at full strength. What does that prove?
That's not how I said it. You guys listen to what I said. That's not what I said. I said I would have loved to see our best 11 versus their best 11 to see how well we're.
As a Liverpool fan, I'll probably say that. If you're a neutral fan, if you don't even support both clubs, I'd understand why you're saying that. But you're a Liverpool fan, for God's sake. You want to see the opposition at their weakest. I hope we play Real Madrid if they've got to beat him. I don't want to see Mbappe or Jude Bellingham or Vinicius Cava, who's never playing at Anfield. I want to see Madrid at the weakest.
Oh.
You know.
He's made an argument. He's made an argument all because I said I want to see us play against the best teams. That's basically what I said. That's literally what I said. If we beat them Sunday,
you
would have churned out another excuse though. That's the problem.
What excuse am I going to make? We beat Arsenal. We're title contenders.
Neither one of you guys understand in this argument. You're going to get the best version of Arsenal on Sunday.
Yeah.
You're going to get the best version of this Arsenal on Sunday.
I want us to.
But Jake, the problem is that I have with Sarib on this particular.
I know what your problem is.
He beat him on Sunday. He's going to say, "Oh, but you know what, guys? We should have put context on this because they didn't have these kind of players playing for them. They had Ben White on Sunday.
Is going to be as difficult as it can be. I assure you that right now.
I don't give a shit if I don't care if they have half their squad and we win. I really don't care. The job is to get 3 points, but. I will say, just how we sat on the show last season, said, "Oh, but we didn't have Salah, we didn't have Trent, we didn't have this player and that player, and we made excuses for it." You can say the same thing with their fans. Going to do the same thing.
I made excuses.
No, they're going to do the same. No, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing.
You can't speak for me. I didn't say. I don't make excuses.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. But if we're going to do it, then you can't complain if they're going to do the same thing, and you're already complaining about it. That's my whole point. That's why I said. I want to best 11, best 11, and we smashed them. They got no excuse. We beat them fair and square. Now, if we beat them, they're gonna be like, "Oh, we didn't have Saliba, we didn't have Odegaard, we didn't have Saka, or we didn't have Gabriel Jesus and this and that." That's what they're gonna say. That is what I meant by saying I want to see best 11, best 11.
Why do you care?
Why do
you care about Arsenal's fans?
I don't care. I don't. But they're gonna speak up, and I'm a fan that's not biased. I like to sit. I like to be consistent. I like to give. I'm not a biased supporter.
Well, you're very inconsistent towards your own fans.
I'm not, because I literally said I want Liverpool to go to the Emirates and win. I've said that very, very clearly. I'm a Liverpool fan. You make it seem like I'm an Arsenal fan. You made an argument out of nothing.
No, I'm sorry.
All I said was their best 11 versus our best 11. I wanted to see that because then you can fairly say, or you can have a better assessment of how well Liverpool can do this season because we just beat one of the best teams in Europe at their fucking best. They're not going to be at their best at the weekend because half the squad's out. That's not a lie. But if we beat them 3-0, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm talking about their fans, just how some of our fans did it. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but they will do it. Avi,
I'm sorry.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. We're gonna. I think this is. I will say though. You guys can come in. I think this is. We don't have to win this game. I don't think we have to. We're already a couple of points ahead of them.
Would you take a draw right now?
Yeah, of course.
No.
Arsenal's a tough place to go. It's not a lie. I would take a draw I would have taken a draw. I said 1-1 at Old Trafford. I would have taken a draw there. Etihad. I would take draws at all these grounds because we still have to play them again at home. If it was roles reversed, Asim, where it's at the back end of the season.
Carry on. What, Jake, you've answered this question about a couple of times this week. You don't know the Arsenal team right now. I don't want, or if Saka plays, I don't want to take a draw. I don't want that. Give me a yes or no. Would you take a draw right now?
First of all, I don't know if Saka's going to play, and Saka's a very important player. But to answer your question, without no strings attached, I do take a draw right now if you offer it to me. If Saka plays, regardless of who else doesn't play, whether it's obviously Saliba's out, Odegaard is probably out, Calafiori's out, I get all of that. You are going to get the absolute best version of this Arsenal team on Sunday for a lot of different reasons. People put a little bit too much emphasis on certain players being in and out. And I know I just said if Saka plays, but if you take Saka out on top of these other players, that does change the dynamic just a little bit. He's far and away, for me, their most important player on that team, because without him, their attack is absolutely nothing. I know Saliba's a great defender. He's a very good player. In general, he might be a better player than Saka, but you can replace Saliba with the rest of that back line easier than they can replace Saka. They cannot replace Saka. When he's not on the field, they offer nothing in attack. I think he's going to play. I think we're going to get the best version of this Arsenal team. And if you ask me right now, would I take a draw? I would say yes, because I think when the game is over on Sunday, if we're looking back, I think it's going to be the field tilted in their favor when it's all said and done. And if we do come away with the draw, that will be a good result for us.
Another negative idiot asking for the draw. Listen, they're there for the taking, Asim, yeah? All jokes aside, he can say what he wants. He's giving us a monologue of how you would take a draw. Why are we taking a draw? They're missing 4 of their best players.
This is the first time in history I've taken a draw. Mind you that. This is the first time in history I've ever taken a draw.
It is.
Well, that's not the mentality that you need for this channel. So this could be the last time. You better say goodbye to your fellow followers on that thing, because that's not the mentality we need on the channel. Don't be topsy-turvy. At least this guy tells the truth. He likes Arsenal. He doesn't like Arsenal. He likes Liverpool. He doesn't like Arsenal. He's consistently inconsistent. As if we're there for the taking, we've got to take 3 points. No excuses. That will be a true test of how far we've come on a slot. They're there for the taking, guys. And you open up a 7-point lead. I don't think Arsenal come back from that, even this early on in the season. You open up that gap. It's City and Liverpool for it. That's it.
Yeah, if we win, I think
Mamba mentality. You should know about that, Jake. And I'm very surprised that you're saying, "Oh, you know what? I'll take the draw."
I'm surprised too, because as I mentioned, this is the first time I've ever taken a draw. I don't normally take them, but you have to understand, it's October right now. You're going to the Emirates. This is a desperate team. Yes, they're a little battered when it comes.
City for the title. That was a game in October, Asim. When we beat them 3-1 at Anfield, and Fabinho scores that goal, you know, they could have been offside, whatnot. We beat them for the title. That game was so pivotal. We went on this great run, and then City started struggling to catch up with us. I want to open that sort of facet against Arsenal on Sunday. None of this bullshit that we take a draw, man. No, 5 points doesn't do nothing for us. You open up a 7-point lead against Arsenal, job done.
But he's saying that based on the selection of team, though. You're saying that based on who's available for Arsenal.
Exactly. That's why they're at their weakest right now. So what do you do? What do you do when your enemy's at their weakest, Sarib? You go in for the kill. You don't say, okay, you know what? We'll let you recover and we will just settle for, you know, regular ceasefire here. You go for the kill, man.
I agree with that. But what you're not taking into consideration is if you lose this game, this gap between you and Arsenal is now 1 point. And now all of a sudden you lose a little bit of leeway.
My brother, we have nothing to fear on Sunday. With the team that they supposedly have, with the injuries that they have, we should have no fear. We should have no fear. We go for them. Yes, team. Thank you very much. We go.
You're telling me we can't lose this game on Sunday.
I think it's there for the taking for us to win the game.
I'm asking you.
This is our best chance. We're not talking about FA Cup game from last season. This is our best chance in the league in many years to go to Arsenal and get the win.
Okay.
I don't agree. I don't
They
agree.
are very vulnerable too. They are a very
You're not
they are a
taking
very
into
vulnerable
account.
species right now, Arsenal, especially after Bournemouth last week. They scraped through the Shakhtar Donetsk game this week on Tuesday, whenever they played. Fucking God knows, I don't even care for them. I don't even know which day they played. And we got them on Sunday.
You're not taking into consideration how desperate this team is. They, like you said, they lose this match.
The more desperation that they show on the pitch, the more chances they'll be exposed to when we can exploit that back line. They without Saliba, it'll be very interesting to see how Arteta steps him up, whether they play that high line or not. Because who's going to be
I think Ben White and Gabriel are going to play centre back.
at the centre back? And I don't like
I think Timber starts.
I don't. But
on the
again,
right.
I don't know where he's going to play. I think Timber's going to play.
What Avi's basically saying is that he would not take a draw at Arsenal, which I think is nonsense.
There's talk about this.
Yes.
Kelly, I don't know what it's called.
He's on the left side. Yeah,
If we've gone for it and laid everything down the line and we've got a draw, I'd have to accept it, right?
Of course that's going to happen, though. We're not going to sit back at the
It's our best chance in a few years now to go out there in the league to get a win. So we should be preying on a vulnerable animal, right?
Of course, it's not a lie, is it? They're obviously weaker. It's not a lie.
But all this I'll take a draw now. Give me a draw now before kickoff. I'll take it now. That's all BS.
This is all hypothetical. The game hasn't kicked off. We don't know how the game's going to go. Their crowd is going to be behind them, just how our crowd is going to be behind us. I don't know how the game's going to go on the weekend. Of course, the expectation, we're going into the game as favourites. We're top of the league. We're currently the best team.
We're not going into the game as favourites. We're not. We are underdogs. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Going into the game. How can we be underdogs when we're top of the league?
That means nothing.
Of course it means. What do you mean?
Go check the professionals. The bookmakers have Arsenal the favorites for this game. That's for a reason.
I haven't seen the bookmakers.
Of course you haven't seen it because you don't know. They're favorites.
No, because I don't bet.
But favorites nonetheless.
He's not a betting man, Jake. Come on, he's not a betting man.
Okay, so don't know the favorites. If you don't know who the favorite is, Arsenal are the favorites.
Yeah, you have to favor the
I
home
think we're
side.
the favorites, man.
Not as big favorites they were
They're
before.
not big favorites. Very slight favorites, but they're favorites.
But I also think, for obvious reasons, more pressure is on Arsenal. They need the win more than we do. So I hope Liverpool take advantage of that. But listen, I want your predictions. The bookies are Liverpool.
That's not true.
Oh, it changes all the time, though, anyway.
It doesn't change all the time.
I don't know. I don't bet.
Can you go through some of the star messages instead of you trying to look pretty, right? With your ugly jacket, can you look at the star messages as well, please? Hurry up.
That jacket's not
He's
ugly, man.
going. There was I think Mo Mohammed has asked me. Mo Mohammed has asked me about 2-3 times now. Ask him any truth in these Alfonso Davies rumors.
Get him out. I don't want him.
I don't know where these rumors are coming from.
Grizz tweeted it.
Okay, look, I've not heard anything. What else is there?
I'll be shocked if he's alone.
What is
I don't rate him.
Would you sell Jota? Yeah, I think we've been through all the start messages, Avi. Game predictions, guys. Not with your heart. Oh, there's a betting.
I can't see that.
Oh, come on, please. How can we still
Arsenal
screenshot him later on?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, well, they're favorites. That's what it means.
Fair enough.
Avi, your prediction for the Arsenal game. Not with your heart, with your mind, please. And that
2-1
goes
Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. Sarib?
I'll probably say 2-1 Liverpool as well, to be honest. 2-1.
Sorry.
2-1.
My guy.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I think we're going to beat them. I'll be honest. I think we're going to beat them this weekend. I think we're going to win.
Jake, are we going 7 points ahead in the league?
No. You're not going 7 points ahead in the league, and you'll be lucky if you get out of that match 4 points ahead. I'm going to say it's a draw, but I'm not going to be shocked if we lose this match. I'm going to say it finishes 1-1. But I'm very concerned going into this game. I understand they're missing some key players, but you're going to get a desperate Arsenal team on Sunday. As you mentioned, they need this game more than we need it. Their fans are going to be behind them. This is going to be the most challenging match we've had all season, bar none, to this point. That's for sure. we're gonna learn a lot about this team on Sunday. We're gonna learn a lot about this team on Sunday.
I agree with that. Good point.
I'm gonna say it's gonna finish 1-1.
I will take that, to be fair, as well, to be honest.
I take it also.
You would take a 1-0 Arsenal win too. That's the kind of mentality that you have. You would take that. Just to spite team. That's what you would do.
No, I wouldn't.
Look how much he's smiling today.
No, because
You're
just
not better now.
I
You
don't
think
apply-
you're better.
I don't. No point wasting my time on nonsense. Is it?
Chip and rip tomorrow. Don't worry. I think.
Nah, then we'll see. We'll see. You've been going
Avi.
for an hour. You see if I turn up, innit? All right.
Avi,
Asim,
is
what's your prediction?
my prediction, I agree. I don't think we'll win 3-1. So I don't want to just be different for the sake of it. I go for 2-1 Liverpool.
You think we win 2-1?
Yeah.
So then why are you taking a draw?
Why are you
I always
surprised?
have the same conversation. If you think we're gonna win the match, how do you take a draw?
Yeah, because look, I'm backing my team, aren't I? I'm backing my team. If someone offers me a draw right now, I'm not gonna lie, I'll take it.
Yeah, same.
I don't understand this thought process. If I legitimately sat here and thought we're gonna win this match, which I do not, I would never take a draw. I would say we're gonna win the match.
But
I
look,
won't take a draw.
it also depends on Jake. It also depends on if Saka starts.
I'm going
Oh,
out.
now it depends if Saka starts.
No, though, it's true.
Of course it's true. I agree with you.
Sir,
If Saka doesn't start, then my opinion changes completely. 100% it changes.
Saka is gonna start.
look, whatever the result, in all honesty,
Oh, we got an Arsenal fan in the building.
whatever the result, we're gonna learn a lot about this Liverpool team. A lot.
I think
Yes,
the
we're gonna learn a
atmosphere
lot
is
about
gonna
the
be.
team and the manager. 100%.
I think what Arsenal realize as a team and as a squad is they've got themselves in this position by a lack of discipline. You know, they've got had what 3-4 sending offs, and they realize this is a massive moment. Make no mistake about it. The team and the manager. Look, he came out with fighting talk after the game in the midweek and said, "Don't you worry about it. My troops will be flying at the on Sunday." So he's sort of really riled up the fans and the players, and I think he's playing mind games with Timber and Saka. I think them both will play. I think Calafiori, obviously for obvious reasons, won't play. I think who else is there? Who else is a doubt? Saliba's obviously out. There's another doubt in there.
No, Odegaard.
Odegaard's not going to play. No
No,
chance.
Timber.
I think Timber is going to play, Sarib.
I just got a bit of a message from an Arsenal fan. Apparently, Martinelli's struggling as well. Apparently, this was today in training.
Okay. But look, if we play our game, doesn't matter who they play, they are going to be weakened. Doesn't matter who they put out because of the fact that Calafiori is not playing. And you know, even if Timber and Saka play, you know, they'll in theory they'll have Calafiori's out. They'll lack match fitness. But I think that game there's going to be a lot of adrenaline running through people's veins on Sunday. But Liverpool need to be prepared for it, and Liverpool just need to control the first 20 minutes because the atmosphere is going to be really good, I feel, on Sunday. Arsenal are riling their fan base up. The team is going to be really up for it, and they're going to come out their traps and try to surprise Liverpool. And I think last year was a good example. I think Liverpool were really slow to come back into the game and let a few really bad goals in. We came back into the game later on.
Well, that game, Asim. Let's not make joke. We got annihilated.
I won all.
But we were bad with the overall proceedings. They taught us
exactly
footballing
what
lesson
I
that
said.
day.
We weren't great.
Exactly what I said.
But Avi, you have to understand. I'm not going to make that excuse.
We're going to spend for 5 minutes, yeah.
It's a fact. But Avi, we're not. We missed. I think Trent went off that game, and Salah wasn't playing. You saw in the last 20 minutes yesterday when Salah is not playing.
We lost convincingly that game. Come on, we can't make We lost the game.
We deserve to lose.
Don't chuck players there who went off this night. We weren't good enough from start to finish. Even when we weren't good enough.
Even in the
we deserve to lose. We were very passive. But Liverpool can't afford. That's my point. We were passive in that game. We can't afford to be passive. Doesn't matter who Arsenal put out on Sunday. Chalo, that's a wrap. 1 hour 40 minutes.
Look,
Are you going?
carry on with your monologue. Just carry on now. Fucking, you've been going for like the last 5 minutes. Karija was.
Listen, Sarib, you said it's the chip and the rib tomorrow. The amount of times you've been going at Sarib, I think he's got a bruised rib, just like I think he's got a worse rib than Jota.
Who knows? I love.
He's
I love.
he's out for Sunday as well.
Listen, all jokes aside, it's always banter and love.
Sarib's got a bruised rib.
I read all the comments. As long as you keep it that level, it doesn't get personal stuff. Everything's
Of
good.
course, of
I
course.
don't care.
I
Like,
have some exclusive news already. Earlier.
Oh, here we are.
The transfer market I did.
yeah, I'm out, lads. Bye.
Wait, no, stay there, Sarib, we've got an exclusive. We're on.
A few snippets. And
Wait, not yet. How do you enlarge Avi into like the
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
No, I want to do this. How do you do it? Solo layout. There we are. Go on, Avi.
A snippet. What I heard is from a close source at Southampton that Liverpool do want to engage with Southampton over Tyler Dibbling, which would be a transfer for next summer. That's all.
So can you just clarify that again, please?
Liverpool like Tyler Dibbling, and they are expected to begin talks with Southampton over a transfer for Tyler Dibbling next summer.
There we are.
We're going Southampton again.
Okay, how do we
Tyler Dibbling.
Tyler Dibbling. Do you have any news over fee?
No, but it's British rate, isn't it? It's going to be premium. It'll be high. He's a talented footballer as well. Very talented footballer.
John Thomas says who?
Tyler Dibbling.
Alex says I've got him in my FPL team. Is he any good, Alex? But to be fair to Avi, he's been talking about this Dibbling for a couple of weeks now, and he told us who the fuck is that guy? Yeah, Jacob's never heard of him. But didn't you say he's got some like similar traits to Adam Lallana?
Yeah. Very similar characteristics here. Good player, really good player.
Just sounds like Bobby Clark to me.
He'll probably play for Linders next year.
Let's keep an eye out for that. And previously contract talks. Look, I truly am out of that kind of spectrum. I know I'm just giving you a Tyler Dibbling, but I trust this Southampton source. I don't know on contracts. People said not long now. People are retweeting old tweets about Van Dijk, Trent. Look, let's just hope. 2 out of the 3, I said. I think 2 out of the 3 will sign. 1 goes.
TK. Okay. That's a wrap. Thank you very much, guys. If you're listening to the show later on, smash a like and put a comment in and show all the love and support. Go and check these guys out on their Twitter pages as well. How many likes are we on, Sarib? Tell me.
I shall pull up my trusted iPhone device and give you a number.
Let's just get a quick 20-30 likes just before we go off air. But whilst you're doing that, I'll so are you going tomorrow? How many?
64.
There's still 140 people in the building. Please, everyone, just grab your mouse, go take your the cursor over there.
Let's end the night with 69, please.
Gene's still here. Gene, what time is it in Pakistan? Bloody hell, 11, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Gina must be on those magic mushrooms you get in the paint in the village. Must be on those or something.
Jake, Sarib, Avi.
Before we leave though, Asim, I know you said a short message, but prayers and energy
yes,
with one of our friends who is a regular viewer on our channel. Please just send your energy and prayers towards him. No names will be given, but please make sure, guys, regardless of any faith that you're in, please all your energy and prayers for this individual who is a regular in our comment section. Hopefully we get some positive news in the coming weeks. Hopefully.
One of you guys will have to end the show because my battery has gone empty again on my mouse.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you go check us.
My mouse in Szoboszlai in January.
Our sponsors, and make sure you give Sarib a like and a follow on Twitter, and same for Jake as well. Jake's on 15 follows. Let's get him up to 50. Thank you very much.
Take care.